Hello and welcome to a bonus episode of Hockey Inside Out. Now, do you think the Canadiens should send down Joshua Roy and Jaden Struble to the Laval Rocket to help them make the AHL playoffs, or is this just a crazy idea that should not be done? Rick, what do you think?
Well, I'm sure JFO would love to see those guys come down and help them, get the job done to get in the playoffs. And I mean, uh, if they wanted to, it wouldn't probably be a bad thing for them to go and experience some added pressure, if you will, of trying to get in, and then possibly, having a taste of what real playoff hockey is all about at the American League level. So I don't know where they're going to go with that. They obviously are doing a good job at the NHL level, and whether or not the management feel that they would love to help the Rockets get into the playoffs by sending those two guys down. But I'm quite sure wouldn't be a bad thing. And it's just it's a numbers game at this point, whether or not they want these guys to continue at the NHL level, and whether or not they want to set them down and help the Rockets out.
Yeah, I think they should, and I think they will. That's why they papered them to be able to make those moves. They've both shown. Joshua Roy shown he can play in the NHL. Like, he's shown in the whatever games he's played that he's an NHL player. Jaden Struble shown he's an NHL player. It'd be good for them to get the experience of a playoff run in Laval, and it would also be good for the other guys down there, Logan Mailloux and the other prospects down there, to get into the playoffs and go on a long run. So Marty St. Louis spoke about this week, and he said, they're sort of weighing everything, like what's best for the player, what's best for the Canadiens, what's best for Laval. And as Marty said, like he's concerned about Laval also. Like, he's coaching the Canadiens, but so they're going to make a decision at the end of the day. I think it's just a matter of the timing. When they think the timing is right, as Marty said, it would be an easier decision if Laval was already clinched a playoff spot, or they knew they were going to be in. They're still right on the border of being in or out. So if they're still there in another week or so, and I think that's when we might see the move. And one thing this management team's done, they've been honest with players, and they'll explain to these two guys, this isn't a demotion. We know you can play in the NHL. You're going to be here next season. We just think it's good for you to have this development run, and it's good for the other guys in Laval also.
Yeah, from a purely selfish standpoint, I hope they don't send Waugh down, because I enjoy watching him every night. I find him an incredibly interesting player, and I do think that he has been incredibly impressive at the NHL level, way ahead of schedule from what I thought he was going to be. So I think he doesn't need to go to the American Hockey League to get anything to be worked on right now. I think he needs NHL reps, but Struble, from my point of view, has been struggling a little bit for a long time now. He hasn't had that jump that he had the first couple months that he was up. In the new year, he got a bigger role for a while, playing on the second pair. That was a big struggle for him. Now he's down to like 12 to 14 minutes a night again, and the struggle hasn't gone away. Him and Kovacevic really struggled against Columbus. They weren't alone, obviously, but they were the biggest struggles. So I would send him down just to get his feet under him and start getting his confidence back to where it was when he first started back up. And if Laval makes the playoffs, that's great. But we also have to be realistic about Laval. They've been in the same situation almost every year under Houle, in that they are on the edge of the playoffs and they have a chance, but it's a slim chance. I think they're sixth in their division right now, and they don't have games in hand. The teams ahead of them have games in hand. So it's an uphill battle for them. Hopefully they can make it, but I don't know if it's worth sending down players that don't need to go to the AHL for development to help them out. I think Joshua Roy might gain more from just playing the rest of the season in Montreal. And if Laval ends up making the playoffs, then he can go down and join them, because he's been papered down at the deadline.
With Struble, I think it's the case. It's not surprising his game has fallen off a bit as an NCAA player. During his 4 seasons at Northeastern, he never played more than 34 games in a season. And, that's one of the biggest adjustments for an NCAA player going to the NHL as opposed to a major junior player, is they don't play a lot of games in NCAA. And the NHL schedule with the traveling to an NCAA, like you play like a Friday, Sunday at the same team. At the travel, there's hardly any travel. So the NHL schedule, 82 games, traveling, time zones, practices. It's a grind, and I think we're starting to see it catch up a little bit with Jaden Struble. That's why I think for him being able to play a lot more hockey this season will be good for him, just to get used to the grind that comes from the NHL schedule. And the playoff grind in Laval will be a grind too if they get in.
Well, let us know what you think. What would you do? Would you send Joshua Roy and Jaden Struble down to Laval, or would you just keep them with the Canadiens? Leave that in the comments section below, and make sure to check out Hockey Inside Out to see our full episode.